All right. Well, here we go. Podcast with no name.
No name.
No name yet. Um, Still gotta think of a name.
Yeah.
I'll reach out to some people, see if they have any ideas.
Alright.
I still like my idea though of two guys, one movie.
Two guys, one movie.
Yeah.
I mean, we're doing multiple movies. So.
Well, I know that, but it's like we just talk about one movie a week or
Right.
something.
Yeah.
So
this time we're talking about one of my personal favorites is Platoon.
yes. Welcome to the episode, guys. Today's episode we are talking about Platoon, and so this is our second time doing this. So essentially, what we're going to be doing, because you guys are new to the show, just like we are, we'll talk about what happens during the movie. So there are major spoilers, throughout the whole podcast that we do. So, yeah, if you guys want to check us out, you guys can check us out on YouTube and on Spotify. Those of you that are listening won't be able to see what we do, so you guys can check us out on YouTube. But, yeah, so you wanted to talk about Platoon this week.
Yeah, it's one of one of those top tier favorites of mine. It's kind of one of those movies where it's like, during that time, so I think I saw it in, I'm going to say, 2004, so early on. And it was just like one of those, I want to go into the military after watching this movie, and it just kind of stuck with me because it was just like, oh, this looks cool. I think so, I was a whole, disillusioned and did a little, cool, I can go to Vietnam, let's go, kind of thing. But now it's, like I said, it's one of those where the repeat ability is super high, or
nice.
replayability is really high on this one. This one I can watch all day back to back if they featured it.
Yeah.
But yeah, as soon as it came out in 1986, it was like Christmas Eve, and it basically tells the story of Chris Taylor, which is Charlie Sheen's character.
Yeah, real quick. Let me run down the list of people that we have in the movie.
Oh, we'll get to that. It's a very star-studded cast.
Yeah, it's very high up there with a lot of people. It's not too focused on the action. It's more based about the story of what happens in Vietnam.
Well, it's just basically his story.
Yeah, and so you don't have the big 80s action stars like Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone or a bunch of other more action-oriented guys in the 80s. But yeah, movie was written and directed by Oliver Stone.
Mm-hmm. He actually starred in the movie too.
Did he?
Yeah.
Who was he?
He was the base commander at the end.
Oh, okay. That was talking about the being surrounded and stuff.
No, it was because that one was Dale Dye. He was a Marine and whatnot, but I think he was also a military advisor on the set.
Okay.
So he played a role in it. Oliver Stone was, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but at the end when you saw the Vietnamese sapper guy run into the bunker and they're all like, they're on the phone.
Oh, yeah.
Close up. The guy that was
actually
on the phone,
pretty funny.
Yeah, the guy that was on the phone was the director. So.
Okay. But yeah, so yeah, we got to start cast. So we got the three main people: Charlie Sheen, Willem Dafoe, and Tom Berenger. But we have some other key players too. So we got Keith David, very young Keith David.
Yeah.
Very young Willem Dafoe as well. I want to point that out. Forrest Whitaker, very very young Kevin Dillon.
Yeah, all these guys are young.
So super young.
These are almost
probably early on in their careers. I would say
their first breakout movie.
So yeah, and then you got Johnson C. McGinley, which this threw me out of left field. Johnny Depp is in this.
Yeah, you saw Johnny Depp.
Yeah, I was all like, wait, is that him?
Yeah,
I'm all like, hold on. So I had to Google it, and I'm like, holy shit, he's actually in this movie. What the hell?
He was a learner.
Yeah,
private learner.
And then you got Tony Todd.
Yeah.
who's, for those of you that don't know, is also very synonymous in horror movies, more prominently in the Candyman movies.
Yep.
So he was the main character in the Candyman back in that time. So, but yeah, we'll start off what happens in the movie. So that's basically all I had. I watched this last night, and I forgot all about what happens, and I finished the rest of it today. So, like,
oh, yeah, I've watched this movie like hundreds of times, man. So,
when was the last time that you watched this?
last time I watched it had to have been about a month ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
But like I said, it's one of those like films where it sticks with you, and you watch it once, and it just sticks. Well, for some,
Right.
it just sticks.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we can open up to like that first clip of like their first firefight.
Yeah.
Right when he gets there.
And then, for those of you that are listening, you guys won't be able to see this, but I will also post a clip here, somewhere, here, something, about the clips that we watched, so that way you guys, as the audience that are watching on YouTube, can also watch and participate. Especially if you guys haven't seen it, it's like, I don't really know, but yeah, that way this will be a little bit better.
With that right there, because if they hadn't had those trip flares,
yeah,
they'd have just walked right up on him and probably smoked him, everybody in there, and it would just been really bad. But you see how like even with the controlled ambush that they had set up, the other sergeant guy just tosses a grenade over and blows off his own his buddy's arm.
Yeah.
And everything. But then after that, the guy who fell asleep, Junior, goes to promptly blame Taylor.
Yeah.
For falling asleep when it was his turn, because even during that time it was a lot of Blue Falcons. Like, people will fuck you over just to not get in trouble. And
right.
And yeah, so and especially with Barnes, just Tom Berenger's character, like he's a no nonsense, like take no shit kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he finds out about it, and he gets pretty pissed off. But he knows, like, if some kind of way, he knows that Junior's bullshitting him. So
right.
He's like, dude, like, you're laying into it pretty thick. I know you're the one that fell asleep, but it's also at the same time, like, stay the fuck awake, because shit like this can happen. He's looking at Garner, which is the guy Taylor got the plane with.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to suck a chest when Meg's trying to save him and everything like that. Dude's in passing away, and he's like, well, keep your shit watertight at all times, otherwise this shit's going to happen. And
right.
But Taylor ends up taking a round to the neck. It was a graze. He's yelling out, I'm hitting him, and everything like that. So, he gets taken back to the aid station, but he's fine. And then
because like the whole time he goes like, man, like, I hope that I don't die.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, am I dying? They're like, no, you just got grazed. Like, you're fine. Like, we'll take you to a medic, and you'll get patched up, and you'll be fine. And it's just like, oh man, like, I'm starting to go cold. And he's starting to panic and stuff because he was just grazed by the bullet. But of course, like, if you were grazed by a bullet, I would imagine that it would feel like that, like, it's worse than it actually is. I mean, that pretty much goes with, like, most pain, I feel like.
I don't know, because, like, at the same time, like, he didn't really know he was hit or grazed until, like, he felt it.
He felt it, yeah. Because, like, the adrenaline was kicking so high that he probably didn't even feel it.
Yeah, I guarantee he didn't feel it until he was like, ow.
Yeah. Up until, like, because, like,
everything was done and whatnot, he, like, calmed down a little bit.
Yeah.
That's when he was just, like, he touched his name. It was like, oh, crap, I'm bleeding. I'm hit.
Yeah. Yeah, because to me, it doesn't seem like that a lot happens in this movie.
Oh, a lot happens.
Well, like, a lot does happen, but at the same time, nothing happens. There's, like, big significant scenes that happen, but, like I mentioned to you earlier, before we started, I was just like, well, like, there's a lot of banter going back and forth. Yeah. Like, it's a lot of character development because that's just what they did, and that's what the focus was. Mm-hmm. Because you wanted to get to know these characters and how they operated and how they worked. And so, like, for me, it's not the fact, like, oh yeah, I didn't have that much action, so it's not that great of a movie. Like, it's a good movie. Like, this is the first time that I've seen it. And I still think that it's a good movie for it. And it definitely pictures Vietnam that drastic, and they didn't sugarcoat it because like they just went off of what they knew, what happened, and that is just like applause on its own. And especially with later on that happens, because like after because like when he gets patched up, he goes back to their base.
Yeah, he goes right back.
And then after that, he like goes to like who was it, like Kane, right? Like Kane invites him to come with him to like their little clubhouse.
Yeah, he had like white dudes who was out there like digging fox. Well, no, he was burning shitters.
Yeah,
because he was on the shitter details. He was out there pulling out the large like steel containers.
Yeah, because like before that, like Kane had the container of beers.
Yeah.
And he's walking over, and one of the guys goes like, "Hey, where'd you get all those beers from?" And he goes like,
he acquired them."
Yeah, he goes like, "He goes like, I found them. Don't worry, I found them." And he stole them from their side of the camp.
Yeah, he stole them. So that's why he got put on report, as they say. But yeah, he had shit duty. So him and Taylor had to go on like burning shitters. But yeah, then right after that, that's when Taylor kind of like opened up to him. Was like, "Yeah, I'm kind of here after I dropped out of college, and this is what I signed up to do and everything like that." So King is like, "Dude, you're stupid. Why did you come here? You had a full college and everything like that. And you gave that up to come here, like."
Right.
So in a way, he's just like, you gave up, a cushy college life to come to a meat grinder, per se.
Because like, wasn't it the fact that he wanted to do something with meaning instead of just like having a cushy job and being like rich for? Yeah, because like later on in the movie, he mentions it that like, I would rather do something rather than having Ivy League kids like be able to run everything and have done nothing with it.
Yeah, in a sense.
That sort of thing.
Yeah, that's when he was coming in with the whole, like he was still disillusioned at that stage. So he was kind of like I'm gonna live through this, I'm gonna do my part and everything like that. I'm gonna come back with my, make a good career out of it. But as you see, as time goes on, and more time he spends in Vietnam, more time he spends with his platoon and everything like that, he just becomes a lot more callous, if you want to say.
Yeah, because like I noticed that because like he was very like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed in the beginning, and like towards the end of it, he's like,
he's a completely different person.
Yeah, he's completely changed, and even because like throughout the movie, he has these inner monologues of narration, and at the end, he talks about how like I'm leaving this war, but I'm still taking it with me because it's still a part of me and everything, and stuff like that. So that was actually interesting to like get that scope of what would happen. So, but yeah, we'll talk about like what happens next after that. So, yeah, because like he gets back to base, and it's like nighttime, and so like they're all hanging out, and so.
Yeah, that's the time he starts smoking weed too.
Like Charlie Sheen comes in and he's all like, "What's going on?" And so you see Willem Dafoe in the back of their like clubhouse, and he's just chilling out, and he like smiles and waves, and they're like, "Here, like smoke this," and so he first time smoking pot, and so he's like starting to trip, and they're all smoking and hanging out and stuff, and then Willem Dafoe comes up with a shotgun.
Yep.
And he's all like, points it at him, and he's all like, "Here, put your mouth on this." And he's all like hesitant because he's afraid of what's going to actually happen. Because of course he's got a gun drawn on him.
Yeah.
And then he just goes like, "Go on, put your mouth on it." So he puts his mouth on it. Willem Dafoe takes a hit of his
grips him.
Yeah, and he just shotguns the smoke, and he's all like, "All right, cool, this is awesome."
Yep. So they're all down there getting high, and then it's cut to the other half of the platoon where you got like the by the book squared away guys where they're just up in the barracks, listening to music, playing cards, you know, just kind of just doing regular, you know, day-to-day Joe stuff.
Yeah, they're all drinking and
Yeah,
like drinking
yeah,
beer and
they're having a beer
whiskey
too
and stuff.
But yeah, the other guys down are getting fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, they're having a good time because they're like, look,
Yeah.
I'm in Vietnam, might as well make the best of it, you know, because you know we probably ain't gonna be here tomorrow or you know whatever.
Right.
So they're down there having fun. The other guys are treating it like, you know,
It's a job. Like,
yeah, this
you know,
is our
we
job.
have to do stuff tomorrow still. So,
yeah.
because, yeah. And then, like, after that, like, they all have their fun and whatnot. And then the next big thing that happens is that, don't they go to, like, the village right after that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I was gonna ask you what that clip to you so you can...
Yeah, because, like, after that, they go to a village where they they start to investigate that, like, this tiny village is helping the
VC.
the VC, what is it?
VC. It's like Viet Cong or
Yeah.
the guerrillas at
Yeah.
that time. So
Yeah, basically what they refer to as the Viet Cons and stuff, and but yeah, we'll go ahead and play this. Yeah.
too far on this one. Yeah, it's when they came to the village the first time. This is right after Manny died, because I don't know if you saw, like, in the bunker scene, he was the guy that was like lifting weights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they go down. I think this what we're missing is their second ambush, because they found a bunker while they're on a patrol.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they found a bunker.
Yeah.
And then while they're investigating it, the lieutenant told, you know, Taylor and Manny to, you know, go 50 meters this way, 50 meters that way, and be on, like, you know, sentry kind of thing. It's like while they're sitting there, Sandy and Sal are in the bunker looking, you know, doing ST stuff, like they're looking for information and all that kind of stuff. So he finds, like, this ammo can with just, like, maps and all this information. So he's like,
oh yeah, because then he takes the map.
So he's like, it's like dope. So he puts it all back, but the whole time Sal's like, dude, you know, just leave that shit. Let's get out of here. You know, just this is all goo. So just leave it. And he's like, no, it's important. So he goes to lift it up, sets a booby trap, you know, blows his arms off, and, you know, he's just all messed up and whatnot. Sal's inside, like, already dead. So Sandy comes out and he's just stumbling around. He's already dead, but he's just, like, up and moving. He dies. And then that's when, like, after that explosion goes off, that's when Taylor, like, turns around and starts heading back towards the platoon. And then so after, you know, they're trying to get accountability, make sure one's there, they're like, yo, where's Manny at? And they're sort of calling out for him, like, nothing. So they're like, okay, now we got to go and look for him. And I think he said that they found it's like 100 yards away, and he was tied to a tree with his throat cut, and they had, like, it was like a note that they put on him, basically saying, you know, just you gotta leave, kind of thing. This is what's going to happen if you keep staying here, kind of thing.
Yeah. So
everyone in the platoon sees him, and they're pissed off, and rightfully so. And now they're heading to their next objective, which is this village.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they get to the village, and they're like, yo, these people have, like, a ton of rice. They got weapons. You know, clearly they're aiding the VC and, you know, and all their stuff. Or at least the VC come here for, like, resupply and everything like that. So they're trying to, like, cut that supply line off. And, yeah, it just gets worse from here. And then you can go ahead and play it if you want.
Yeah.
And so now Taylor's pissed off because they found...
Yeah, because, like, because then they start finding people in hidey holes and stuff. And then Charlie Sheen finds this old woman with this young this young kid that only has one leg.
Oh, he has one leg, one eye, and he's, like, you know, just messed up. So he's clearly disabled. Yeah. And so they don't speak a lick of English or anything like that. So he's just like,
so he's, like, freaking out on them.
So he's pissed because, you know, now that they done lost 3 guys, one of which he was kind of close with or started to get close with. Yeah. And, you know, now he's just like, well, why don't you listen to me? So he's starting to turn into you know, starting to get that callus going.
Yeah. So we'll play it from this spot.
Yeah, it comes to basically just like you said, Barnes is pissed just as well because now he's lost three guys. and like he knows that these villagers are aiding the VC and everything like that. So he's just like, all right, the whole me talking and me being nice about it and asking isn't working. So now I'm going to do things my way. So after he interrogates her and everything like that, or interrogates the main guy that was in charge of everything around there, the guy's wife just kept talking. So he just like, if I had enough, and commits a war crime. Just shoots her. And then, so he was like, okay, well, if you're not going to talk to him, he just grabs his daughter. And it was like, basically like, you're VC, aren't you? You're VC, aren't you? It's like, say that you are, kind of thing. And the dude keeps denying it. No, I'm not. And so right as he's getting ready to kill his daughter, Sergeant Elias comes up. Basically just was like, look, you're not a firing squad. You're not judge jury out here. Like, there's a fucking process, so even though that half of the platoon is laxed and they're just kind of like we're making the best of it, making the best of a shitty situation. Right. They're still by the bush. They're not gonna go around and just start killing innocent people. Yeah. Anything like that. So Elias and Barnes are now fighting each other, and that creates like a huge rift with Taylor, because Taylor wants to impress Elias, because he's like, cool, Elias looks after me, because day one I got here, he's like, tell me what I don't need, what I do need, how to do this, how to do that, basically coaching me like that. But also at the same time, on the other side of the coin, he wants to impress Barnes, because Barnes is Barnes been through some shit, still there, and everything like that. He's like that embodiment of like, fuck around and find out kind of thing. I'm the squad daddy. Yeah. Kind of thing. So he's like, yeah, all right, that's kind of what I want to be. But also at the same time, I love Elias too, because he's been looking after me this entire time I've been here and everything. So now, two squad daddies are fighting. Yeah. And so now he's like, shit. No,
squad daddy, stop fighting.
So now he's like, shit, because
now what do I do?
Yeah, because like you saw, like he was getting ready to say something, like he wanted to be like, hey, I don't think that's right, and like that. But also at the same time, he's like super new. Yeah. So
it's like, I don't know if it's my place to actually say something to my sergeant, who is my superior.
Yeah. So he's like, okay, if I say something, am I gonna get shot next, or am I gonna get just anything like that? So that kind of resonates with a lot of people, even in the military, and hell, it can be even a new job, to where if you see something wrong, you're just like, I really like this job, I really want to succeed in here, and then the person that I'm idolizing right now is doing some shady shit, but is this how it's done? Yeah. If it is, I'm not going to say anything, but also at the same time, I know, like, inside myself, that's not really right, so what do I do, kind of thing. And that scene right there just kind of like, it's one of those that sticks with you, because you see one committing a crime. Yeah. And you're just like, oh man, you shouldn't have done that. I don't think that was right. That's not right. You're going to way too far. And then you got the other side coming in, trying to correct it. And now they're clashing heads. So now we just got to wait to find out what happens with Taylor next, because right after this scene,
because like they start to pack up and they start to leave the village. Yeah, then they say like, oh yeah, we'll be back tomorrow.
But then they blew all the weapons in place. They burned down the village.
They started burning down the village and stuff. And then Charlie Sheen starts to like walk away, because he hears this commotion. Yep. And he finds some of his platoon, like basically pretty much like assaulting a couple of girls, and he goes like, what the hell's the matter with you guys? Like, these aren't animals, these are human beings. Like, they're not just they're not just animals here. Like,
he said you all are fucking animals, all of you. You're fucking animals.
And they're all like, oh, like they're all thinking that he's prude. They're all like, oh, like, what are you, gay?
And what's even worse is that the medic was part of it, and he came up, he was like, the fuck you doing, Taylor? She's a fucking thing. And he was like, no, she's a fucking human being, dude. Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, he's like protecting them.
Yeah, so I'm like, wow, even the medic got in on it and everything like that. So it's just like where does that line stop? Because obviously these guys have been through like a lot to the point where like all of them are just, this is a shitty situation what more can it take from me, or what more can it do besides killing?
Yeah, because like there were guys out there that were doing this sort of thing.
Oh yeah,
like it's
oh, there's a movie just dedicated just towards that, and
of them just like going to villages and just like
no, it's it's another movie, like we might cover it sometime soon, well, sometime down the line. It's called Casualties of War, with Sean Penn, I want to say Michael J. Fox, I believe, and it's like a couple other guys in there. Where basically it was Sean Penn was the squad leader, and you know they all go out on a patrol and everything like that, and some of the guys end up getting killed, like not the main guys, but some of the guys end up getting killed. So Sean Penn was like, "Hey, you know, we're going on reconnaissance patrol and everything like that." And so basically, like it's just they basically go on a reconnaissance patrol, and then Sean Penn's like, "You know what, we're gonna have some fun with it." So they go to a village, kidnap a girl, and then you kind of know the rest. But we'll cover that later. Yeah, but so he finds that, breaks it up and everything. So and he's just already he's kind of like switched off onto the other side, onto that side, because he's like, okay, so not only are these guys out committing war crimes, they're out here, you know, assaulting like girls, like not even like little girls and everything like that. Yeah. And everything, and these are supposed to be, you know, my brothers and shit like that.
Right. Like I'm supposed to fight with these guys, and I'm supposed to basically kill for them, and they're supposed to kill for me. Yeah. So that we can all go home by the end of this.
So at the same time, it's kind of like, you know what? I'll compartmentalize and deal with that later. Just just stop it right then and there. Yeah. Because right after this, I think they go to, I want to say it was like the temple area where they were doing another patrol. Yeah. And that's when more people got hit. So I don't know if you had that clip loaded up.
Let's see. Yeah, because like right after that, they're back at the platoon, or not the platoon, their base, and Charlie Sheen is like arguing with them, going like, "Oh, like, no, wait, it's after that,
yeah,
right?"
This is after that. Yeah, they basically, like, once they get back to their OP, Barnes and Elias go to the company commander, and it's basically like saying, "Hey, Barnes executed somebody and was getting ready to execute another person," and so the company commander's like, "Hey, look, if there was an illegal killing, we'll get to the bottom of it, but right now, like, I don't want to hear any of that. We need you guys back out in the field because we need to take that village by tomorrow," and everything like that. So at that point, it was already Barnes had made up his mind what he's going to do. So now Elias just kind of he has a very big target on his back, as well as with the other guys. Well, with Barnes' side.
Yeah, and then,
but you can kind of see like the defeated look on his face, where he's like, all right, until the meantime, you two cease fire. So basically, don't kill each other until we get to the bottom of it. If you're innocent, then you ain't got nothing to worry about. Yeah. But if you're guilty, don't shoot anybody. But he needed them to go back out like that. I think the next day, to go back into the village, and then on the way back, that's when they get into their second firefight here.
Yeah, because they start walking through the forest and stuff.
Yeah. So so with that one, so he gets Johnny Depp back to the medic behind the fire and everything like that, and so he goes back in, and then so right after that, Barnes comes up and he finds the LT behind a tree, and he's like, just knocks him upside the head, like, "You fucking idiot! Like, you're calling in, you're calling in artillery on our position, and like, you just wasted a lot of our dudes up there with your fucked up fire mission." That's what he calls it. And so like the guy, so he's like, "Oh shit, I did." And so now Barnes is correcting it, and then once he does, that's when Elias like comes back up, and then so they're bickering back and forth, because Elias is like, "Hey, just give me 3 guys, because they're gonna start flanking us." So they're like, "No," and so he's like, "No, I've been through this before. just give me 3 guys. So Barnes was like, all right, fine, you got him. Take off, bye.
Yeah.
And then there was one line that Barnes said that kind of stuck when he was like, when Elias, he said, keep pouring off that cover fire because I don't want my ass hanging out.
Yeah.
And then so like Barnes grabs him. He was like, don't you tell me how to run my ward. So I'm like, oh, so okay. So now this guy's like, you know, at that level of I'm in control of everything.
Yeah.
And whatnot. So everything that happens is because of me. And so he's like, don't tell me how to run my ward. And then so, yeah, he takes off. He takes Taylor. Taylor, Raspucci, and see other guy. It's just the other guy that was burning the shit with. Yeah, so he like Elias takes those 3, puts them on like a log, and that's when, you know, Elias was like, hey, I'm about to go down there about 100 meters because they're gonna, you know, come down this way. He was like, if you see anything out there, just fucking shoot it.
Yeah.
And so Elias takes off. 3 guys at the left there. They see some guys coming up. I was like Elias said that they were flanking them, and so like they mowed down a bunch of them. They took off, so that repelled their attack or the counterattack for that. And then the whole while Elias is out there just running around wasting dudes left and right and everything. And then, but while they were taking fire, then it was like one of their guys got hit. So Barnes comes up and he was like, hey, you two take your wounded guy, go back. I'll go back out for Elias. And so basically, like, it comes down to this standoff of Barnes is down hunting Elias, and then so when they finally like meet up, you see it in Elias' eyes where he's like, "Oh shit, okay. I mean, it's just you. I'm good now." You know? And at the same time, like Barnes has his rifle raised up at him, and he's just like, lifts his head up, and he was like, okay, it's you. I know it's you, and it's just us out here. And then so it clicks with Elias, so he's like, shit. So as he's getting ready to take off, you know, Barnes pops him 3 times in the chest.
Yeah.
And
yeah, and then
and what I really like about what I really like about Taylor is that he actually like runs back. Me personally, I'm like 100 meters ain't that far.
Yeah.
Like it's fairly close to the point where
yeah.
You know, if need be. Like I'm surprised he didn't. But he run that 100 meters and just verified, or at least dragged him back. That's what kind of like made me upset with Barnes and Taylor at the same time, because it was just like, okay, if you saw that he's dead or whatever, why didn't you grab him?
Right. And then the other thing too is that like he was torn to be like, okay, like
I can go.
I can go and see if he's okay or see if he's actually dead.
Yeah, but he said that there's a ton of enemies around.
But I don't know. Like he said that he's dead, so I kind of have to trust him because he is my superior. He is my sergeant.
So well, it wasn't that. It was basically like he was like, "Hey, dude, there's hostiles all over the area.
Yeah,
like he's dead. There's nothing I can do. Get out."
Yeah,
and so but at the same time, it ought to have been like, "Okay, if you saw him, why don't you grab him?"
Right.
You know,
because he was holding back from like going and running and checking on him too.
But yeah, so it's actually part of like their war ethos is like never leave a fallen comrade. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, you know, no matter what state or anything like that or what's going on, like you don't leave a dude like at all. And but for them to, for at least the platoon sergeant to leave a person like that, that wouldn't sit well with me. Yeah. So I probably would have just ran back, you know.
Yeah, because like a lot of them, they were still carrying like dead bodies, like so that they can get shipped back home and stuff.
Yeah, this is forward of the firefight. So everybody already broke contact. That's what he said. He was like, yeah, we're pulling back to Churchill and everything like that. So we need to get you when we got and get out. Yeah. So.
Yeah, because then they get back on the helicopter, and then they're on their way back to base.
And that's when he shouts out, you know, they got Elias.
Yeah. Because they're like, well, where is he? And he goes like, oh yeah, like they got him, they got Elias and stuff, and saying that he was dead.
Yeah, but now you see like how he turned and was basically like, you know, now Elias is gone. Now I want to fucking kill you.
Yeah.
Because you are not the person that I thought you were.
Yeah, and then this was the thing that I was trying to talk about earlier was that they get back to base and it cuts to them, like Charlie Sheen talking to the rest of the squad about like, oh yeah, like Barnes told me that he died, and we just all saw him not dead, and that he did die by the Viet Congs, like, but why would he say if he's dead and then all of a sudden we see him running for his life from them?
Yeah, they knew. They're like, well, Taylor knew, like, why he killed him, and like that. But at the same time, it was the disbelief of you killed the one dude who was basically like who looked after me and everything like that, and like I looked up to him, and then now you killed him, so now I'm gonna kill you. Yeah,
because then they start talking about like what they can do about it. They're like, oh, like, you know, we didn't even bring this up to like the higher ups and stuff like that, and and then they start going back and forth with it, and then all of a sudden there's Sergeant Barnes drinking like right outside their little clubhouse, and he goes like, oh, is that what you're gonna do? You're just gonna turn me in?
No, he was like, you talking about killing? And he was like, well, I want to hear about it because I've been doing a whole lot of killing, basically.
Yeah, he's like, ever since I got here, I've done nothing but kill.
And so he was like basically trying to downplay it all, basically justifying the reason why he killed Elias. He was like, Elias was, you know, water walker. He was this, that, and the third, and everything like that. He said he was a crusader and all that kind of stuff. So he's basically like saying, hey, look. And there's that iconic line, you know, if the machine breaks down, we break down, and I'm not going to allow that.
Yeah.
So basically, like, since Elias went against him in the village, it's basically like he was in the way of you know, that little, you know, stick something in the cogwheels and it won't work. He was that object. So that's what he viewed him as. Yeah, he basically was like, all right, fine. He was like, it's 4 you boys against me. He was like, if you don't like it, kill me.
Yeah.
And then none of them moved.
Right.
So I'm just like, huh. And then and that's when he gave me the option to. He was like, look, I know what I did was fucked up. Basically, it was him coming down saying, it's not really like an apology, but an apology saying, look, I fucked up. I'm sorry. If y'all want to take y'all vengeance out on me, fucking do it.
Yeah.
And they didn't do it, so he got pissed. Because, you know, in a warrior mindset, it's like, you either do something or you don't. Because it's like, I'm going to go down fighting regardless, but, you know, if you challenge somebody else and they're just backing down from it, you just like, that's when he was like, he got pissed off. He was like, you know, fine, fuck it, I'll shit on all y'all.
Yeah.
And he turns around and walks away, and that's when Taylor gets up and is like, fine, fuck it. And he starts going at it.
Yeah.
And then, so we had Barnes ended up getting the upper hand on him. And it was basically like, Ramucci came over and was like, look, you've been doing this shit for 10 years. Climbing the walls, man. Don't throw it all away by killing Taylor.
Yeah.
And so he nicks him. Basically like, you know, I'm still in control of shit. And so, you know, he leaves. And then now they got their last and final firefight coming up here. To where it's they're now in the jungle, but you know, some people are going home. King ends up his orders came through, so he gets to go home. So
yeah, because King goes home before the final firefight.
Yeah, like literally like a couple hours before, so he got spared.
Yeah, he's all like, dude, if you want to stay here, like, you know, like, oh yeah, like, you get to go home. Chopper's already here. It's about, like, what is it, like, 10 minutes? Like, you've got 10 minutes.
Yeah, you just got a couple minutes to get down there. If you're not on it, I'm going to be. So,
right.
You know, he's saying his goodbyes to Taylor and everything like that. And he telling him, he's like, look, you know, don't think too much. You'll be all right. You're going to make it.
Yeah.
So Taylor's like, you know, you got my address. You know, if you need a place to stay, just hit me up. Or hit my parents or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so, so Taylor leaves. And so then that's when, you know, well, not Taylor, I'm sorry, King leaves. Taylor goes back to the line, and then it cuts to Junior, which is the other guy. He's getting his foot inspected by Barnes.
Yeah, because he says that he can't walk.
Yeah, he was like, I can't walk. I gotta get on that last chopper out here because I can't walk.
Yeah.
And so Barnes is like looking at him. He was like, "What's wrong with you?" He was like, "Oh, I can't walk." And he was like,
he goes like, "Well, there's a centipede over by the ammo box."
he was like, "Yeah, go and grab that centipede." He was like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah, that long red and yellow black bastard found the ammo crate. Let's put his boy's crotch see if he can walk." And he was like, he's bluffing.
Yeah.
At the same time,
he's like, all right,
I would have sold that. Like if it was up to me, I would have sold it. I'm like, no, all right, fine, do it, but I still can't walk.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But yeah, he ends up saying, "No,
it's kind of like the scene from Talladega Nights. I don't know if you've seen that.
It's pretty weird.
Yeah, and it's like he gets into that car wreck in the
it's one of the invisible fire.
Yeah, and then he goes to the hospital, and so they're like, yeah, like he's completely fine, like he can go home. And they're like, well, why is he still here? And then he goes like, well, he doesn't want to leave. And then they're like, well, why is he in a wheelchair? And he goes like, because he believes that his legs don't work. And then they go in the room, they check on him, and so he goes like, yeah, I can't walk. And he takes a knife, and his manager goes like, don't do it. And he goes like, I'm going to do it. He goes like, don't do it. So he stabs himself in the leg. And then he jumps up out of the wheelchair, and he goes like, oh my God, it's a miracle I can walk. Like...
Wake up, idiot! You want to know what I am? You want to see what my life is?
Don't do it.
You want to see what's going on here? Don't you stick that knife in your leg. Oh! Oh, man! Ow! Well, hold on. Oh, man! Hold on now. Hold on. Oh, that hurt.
It's funny.
But he basically he just told him, he was like, look, because he was like, no, fuck it, I walk. And then so that's when Barnes was like, you know what, fine. Next month, get you spraying mosquito repellent on your feet. He's like, I'm a court martial you.
Yeah.
And so Junior's already had it. He's like, fine, court martial me. I don't give a fuck. Send me to jail. I'll go. Take me. Bye. I'll fucking do it.
Because like anything to get out of this shithole.
And so he's just like, all right, whatever. So then Bunny, the unhinged guy, was like, fuck it. You can come out of my hole. And he was like, yeah. So he just walks away. So Junior just breaks down crying like, oh my God. So, and then that's when Johnson McGinley's character,
the other sergeant, he goes up to Barnes and he starts like
trying to get out of it too.
Yeah, like crying a little bit of just going like, like I got to get on the next chopper out of here.
Yeah, because he was like, hey, I got Elias's R&R because it gets passed down to him since Elias died, and so he was next in line. Yeah. So he got his R&R. He was like, yeah, I'm thinking about going to YC, see my wife, and anything like that. He was like, yeah, I was kind of hoping he was gonna put me in that chopper. He was like, nah, bro. He was like, no, I need everybody out here, and you know that. And it's like, I'm just asking for 3 days. Like, it's just 3 days. He was like, I am talking to you, and I'm telling you no. And then that's when he was like, I got a bad feeling that I'm not gonna make it out of here. And that's when another iconic line comes in. He was like, we all got to die sometime, Red. Yeah. And he just looks at it and walks away, and he's like, just defeated the end. Yeah.
And then later that night, then comes the last firefight. Because
in which a lot of characters died in this one.
Yeah, because I don't even remember like how it started, and I literally watched it just like earlier today.
Yeah, it's basically like it was Francis and Taylor in their foxhole, and
that's what it was, and then they're keeping an eye out, and then they're just like.
Yeah, because he goes, Riggins' hole just got nailed because he got hit by an RPG. And that's when you see him like calling out, saying, "Don't shoot, don't shoot." And so he gets in. He was like, "Look, they are all in. They're coming. There's hundreds of them. Like, it's a trap, dude. Like, we need to get out of here." Yeah. And so like he scurries up the back and runs. He was like, "They're riding my ass. They're not stopping for shit." And so Francis is like, "Hey man, we could bounce. Like right now, we can leave." And he's like, "Fine." You say, "No, you go." And so they stayed and fight. So,
yeah, because then sorry, that's my cat freaking out for no reason. Let's see if this is it.
Give me Bravo right away.
No, it's the second half.
Yeah.
Now the Vicious are gearing up and starting to head towards him.
And then they're like,
trip flare.
Trip flare. So now they know that they're there, but they just don't know where they're at specifically. So then they open fire on them.
Anything behind you don't identify itself, fucking blow it away, okay?
Yeah, and this is him saying like, oh, they're coming from all sides. They could be coming from behind.
Get out of your fucking holes. Stay right here, man.
Yeah. Then there's a flare going.
They're probing us. They're gonna be going up and down this line all night trying to get through. I'd stay here. Stay cool. I'll be right back.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to actually see in the dark, and like that's why that they have these flares out so that way they can see them a little bit better.
It's like this right here last week 4 minutes, and I went to basics. We had our final FTX, one of our final FTXs. It was done at night after we had done our foxholes and whatnot.
Yeah,
and like you'd be surprised how much you really can see in the dark.
Right.
Because we were able to like see shadows of the cat out there walking around and everything.
And then that's what you're saying, like, oh yeah, like he's right, like they're right behind me and they ain't stopping, like. And then he's all like, dude, like we gotta get out of here. And Charlie Sheen's just like, nah, like we're gonna stay.
Yep,
and then that's him setting off the charges.
To see how he's more proficient with his weapons now.
Yeah.
In regards to the first thing, he was just like, it's not
trying
working.
to, and he's all like, safety.
Now it's just
safety's
like,
on.
Clapping them off.
Yeah. And then
he just gets hits with a grenade.
Yeah. Grenade goes off not too far from his face, and he's all dazed and confused now. Now they're just like telling the...
Just tell him to give up now.
Yeah.
And so he's telling Francis to get out the hole because they're about to blow it up the same way they did with the RPG.
Yep. And he's trying to tell him to get out of the hole now. Doesn't tell him why, but he just goes like, get out.
No, he tells him, he's like, they're going to blow it, get out of the hole.
Yeah.
And so he drags him out, and there's the RPG right there.
Yep. And there it goes. And then
here comes Taylor.
Yep. And then they go to check the hole, see if they're actually there.
Taylor just kills them all.
Yep. Just mows them down.
He is completely unhinged now.
Yep.
Here he said, it's like, die, you motherfuckers.
Yeah. And then his friend finally gets the courage to go and back him up.
Alright. Third round, just fucking beautiful. He just goes out and starts murdering and everything. Yeah, he just takes off and he's just like, fuck it. So now, in his head, he's like, he's got all his drilling going. He's got all this rage, all this hate, and just discontentness. Now he's just like, fuck it. So he, in other words, he just full sends.
Yeah.
Full sends it. And then that's when he comes up to, it's cuts to the other half of the platoon. You had the LT, the medic, and like a couple of other guys over there. they were trying to like raise other people. He's like, hey, where's Barnes and all them? He's like, I think they're dead. I think they're all dead.
Yeah.
And whatnot because he couldn't couldn't talk to any of them on the radio. So yeah, they're all over there just kind of like confused and shooting everything and whatnot. And then it cuts to Bunny and Junior. So now bombs are going off and whatnot. Bunny's over there holding it down with the shotgun, like, you know, come on, motherfuckers, you know, let's go. And so he's dropping them. And Junior's just sitting in the hole. He's like, you know, they're just going to keep coming. Fuck it. So he gets up and he takes off and he leaves Bunny in the hole. So then Bunny turns on. He's like, what the fuck? Get back here, you gutless shit. And he knocks himself out on a tree.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
It's like, wow. So he's running as he turns
yeah,
back
he
at
turns
Bunny.
around and then just knocks himself out of the tree.
And I was like, ooh, it's not going to end well for you. But yeah, first time I seen that, I'm like, it's not going to end well for you.
Get back here, you gutless shit!
That was hilarious. And then...
And sure as shit, that's when Bunny turns around, this dude standing right up, he gets shot in the chest a couple times.
And then
he comes up and sticks the barrel in his mouth. And,
and then blows him away.
Kills Bunny.
And then they come up to...
Cuts back to Junior. Junior's getting bayoneted by another guy. And I'm like, you know, that both of y'all deserve that.
Oh, 100%.
You know, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
But yeah, you both. And yeah, then it cuts to Barnes, and he like blows a guy up with a fucking rocket launcher, or an anti-tank launcher, and so he's out there killing people. He goes out of ammo, and he gets a fucking E-tool. He's out there just mashing people with the E-tool and whatnot.
Yeah,
and then
because then it cuts to
well, he sees Taylor because Taylor runs into him because he's cutting down, and
well, it was like right before this that it cuts to like one of their bases. Other captains and stuff, and like
that's right.
And so then they get told that like, hey, like I need help. Like we're getting surrounded by all sides, and we need help.
Yeah, this is when it came to Oliver Stone, his part, to where they eventually overran that first line, and second line, and now they're inside of like the HQ point where they shouldn't have been there. Which like. I don't know why it was in there, but at the same time, it was kind of messed up and kind of what, because two sappers run in, and you got this master sergeant or whatever with a beer in the hand, shirt's open, and he's like, "Hey, where the fuck you going?" And he just gets fucking mowed down by one of them. I was like, "What the hell? Like a master sergeant did that?"
Yeah.
Okay. And they end up shooting one of the sappers. He detonates and blows up. The other sapper makes it, and he like runs
into one of their tents.
The fucking the control point. The actual TOC runs into the TOC, blows up the battalion commander, all them and whatnot. So now the company commander, Del Die, is looking like shit because he just saw it happen. Him. He's like, damn it. And so he's just like, oh, all right, well.
Yeah, that part was actually funny because he just runs in, he's like, just jumps in, they're like, oh, just explodes.
Just blows off. I'm like, that shouldn't have happened. How the hell did that happen?
Yeah, because like they would have had that whole point covered.
Yeah. And
like, there's no way that any of them would have gotten close.
Yeah, no.
Honestly.
They shouldn't have.
Like, they would have had all corners. Like,
and that's what kills. I was like, okay, so you just that's a fucking bastard out here with.
Like, yeah, sure, they can try to get overwhelmed, but really, like, you have all of that firepower at all of these corners of their HQ of where they're basically holding down the fort for all these higher-ranking officials and stuff.
So, I mean, that also goes to show, but because he makes a good point of it. Well, Vespucci makes a good point that I forgot to cover. It was during the scene where King was leaving, he came up to the LT and was like, he was like, "Hey, Vespucci, you're taking over." He has Eliza's squad now, so now Ramucci is in charge of, that section, that squad of the platoon.
Yeah,
and so he's like, all right, I want King over here, Taylor over here, and then so Ramucci was like, those two holes are far enough apart to where you can run a regiment right through them, and I wouldn't see them. He was like, I'll have like 5 dudes left.
Yeah,
and he's like, I don't care. You'll get new men any day.
Right.
But that kind of points out of like, holes here, and you got this whole open space. So if that was their case around the entire company, then yeah, you can easily sneak in a couple sappers and run right in there.
Yeah.
Without them doing that. But just the fact they made it in that close, it was just like that kind of puts into perspective of how shitty the situation was. But then it cuts and it goes over to the company commander. He's like, you know, dump all you got left from my position.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a lovely fucking war. You know, Bravo 6 Outcomes. He's just like, hey, look, dump everything you got. Because we're now overrun. Like,
right. He basically says that, like, yeah, like, if you got coordinates to my position, just drop it. Yeah. Drop everything. And they're all like, yeah, we understand that it's your go, but, like, I guess we'll drop whatever we have, for you.
It's your call. Get them in their holes.
Yeah.
And so he's like, all right, so that ends that.
Yeah.
Then it cuts to Taylor finally meeting up with Barnes.
Yeah.
And then so Barnes looks over and sees Taylor and he's like, oh, whatever, dude. So he goes back over to beat another VC to death. And then, Taylor comes up and he's like, hey, Barnes. Barnes knocks him. Yeah. Or hits him inside the head with the shovel. And he's getting ready to kill him. And it's just like that one scene of him going like this. And you see the war in his eyes and whatnot. And right before he kills Taylor, that's when the bomb goes off.
Yeah. And then everything gets blown up.
Yeah.
And cut to the next morning.
Yeah.
As the new infantry is coming through.
Yeah, they're
the rest of the infantry coming through.
Yeah, they're
like with a tank.
Yeah, the relief comes in, and then well, no, it was before that. So like,
yeah, because Taylor actually gets up because he's actually fine.
Yeah, he comes to, like, he's burned up a little bit from the napalm and everything, but he gets up, and it's just bodies everywhere, man. And
he's walking around, and then he finds
picks up an AK, and he finds Barnes like crawling
away from everything.
And so he's like, Barnes turns over, he's like, you know, go get me a medic, and sure he doesn't say anything. He's like, go on, go get me a medic. He's like, doesn't say shit. And so he just like shoulders it a little bit, and he was like, and he like Barnes though, he was like, do it. Pops him 3 times, and whatnot. So effectively, you know, he avenged, you know, so to say, Elias. So he kills Barnes, and I don't know if he saw it or if he caught it in the movie, but while he was like sitting on the stump and like the mechanized guys rolled in, he like tossed over a grenade because he was getting ready to kill himself.
Oh no, I didn't say that.
That's originally that's what was going to be written into, or that's how Charlie Sheen thought Taylor should have went out.
Yeah,
because he said he's carrying all his guilt.
Yeah,
now that he lost Elias, he lost numerous friends, and he had to kill the guy he looked up to, which was a platoon sergeant like that. You know, he's got all his guilt and whatnot, so he was just gonna end it. But right before he could do it, that's when the mechanized dudes rolled up, and he was like, he just tossed a grenade out, and he was like, "You good? Can you walk?" And so he was like, "No." So he got him a medic. So kind of find out like if he lives, LT dies.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the medic and the other guy lived because you saw them on over there getting worked on.
Yeah, because then who was it? One of his buddies sees him and he goes like, "Dude, like we're going to the hospital."
Yeah,
man.
that was Francis. That was the guy. Yeah. That was the guy that went to the hole, and that's the guy who was like, "Where are you going?"
Yeah, he goes like, "We're gonna go to the hospital now."
Yeah, because
dude.
when everything came to or not, the next morning he was like, he gets up, he's like, "Fuck this!" And he takes a knife and stabs himself in the leg.
Yeah,
and he's like, "I'm going home." And so like he gets up, he's like, "Yo, Taylor, that you?" He's like, "Yo, Francis." He's like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "We getting out of here. We 2-timers." He's like, "I'm gonna see you in the hospital. We about to get high."
Yeah.
So yeah, they ended up going home. Yeah, so Taylor lives and
then gets on the chopper, and then he makes this final monologue of like I said earlier, where it's all like, "Oh yeah, like, you know, this war changes you. Like, just because I'm leaving doesn't mean anything. I'm still carrying that war with me, like, and I'm still going to carry it with me every day."
Yep.
And that's when it ends. And then the movie ends with a thing from the director basically saying like, this was a depiction, or this is dedicated to the men that lost their lives in the Vietnam War. So it's like that to me also like puts the perspective of like, this actually happened, not like verbatim, but this is basically like all the big stuff. This is basically what happened.
Yeah, well, it's basically
in
like
the war.
told. It's kind of told through the eyes of like just a grunt.
Yeah,
that came in and it's just like okay, the college life wasn't for me. Everybody's like going to Vietnam and whatnot. Might as well go here. So he's coming in like this, this optimistic, disillusioned kind of guy, and he finally like goes through, a couple months of it, and you can see like what I like about this movie so much is that it does a really good job at taking the he's very naive, a naive kid.
Yeah.
And then
naivety.
Yeah, that word.
Yeah.
Naivety or something like that. Yeah, that word.
The naivety or something.
See, you take that.
I don't know. We're dumb.
you take a naive kid, and you basically like you let. I don't think he glorified the war or anything like that, but he's like, hey, look, everyone's doing it, might as well do it.
Yeah.
So he takes that, and then you drop him in there, and just see how he does, and over time, he does a good job of slowly but surely like putting it into the perspective. You can see that just getting ripped away from him.
Yeah, because
like every firefight, every person that they lose, everything that's said and whatnot, it's just chipping away, and he's just like, and by at that point, to where you can see him hesitating when that first ambush, he was hesitating of like, okay, should I shoot him? Should I wake him up? What should I do?
Yeah.
To what? Fuck it. To
at the end of it,
where
he's just
it's like die motherfuckers, and he's
yeah.
just killing everything. So I mean, it does a pretty good job at telling that story of like, you can go from here to here.
Yeah, and like that was the reason why that he made that line of it being like, just because I'm leaving this war doesn't mean it I left it. Like, mm-hmm. I'm still fighting that war, and it's because that, like, a lot of military people, they'll leave a war like that and they'll come back home and they're completely changed. Like, they're not the same person of when they left.
Yep.
Like, that's why a lot of vets pretty much like need help in that kind of scope of things. Like, because they don't know how to cope with everything that they just witnessed and went through. So, but yeah, that's the end of Platoon. So, yeah, I would definitely say it's not a buy, because like now it's a segment of the show where we say, like, oh, go check it out.
Okay, what did you like about it?
Go and buy it whenever you can. But I like the.
I said, what didn't you like about it?
What didn't I like?
Yeah. You're very apprehensive.
It was pretty slow at times. Like with them, like walking, like originally, in the beginning, it's just them walking through the jungle, and I'm just like, okay, well, I'm not gonna expect like, oh yeah, there's a big firefight that just immediately happens. It just keeps going on for 2 hours. Mm-hmm. But like, to me, I was just like, okay, like it's just a lot of bantering going back and forth. Mm-hmm. Like that to me was like kind of boring. And I'm not putting it up against like other like more action packed like war movies, like Saving Private Ryan or something like that. Because like I'm not comparing it to other war movies. Well, yeah, I'm not comparing it to other like movies in that regard, but to me, it definitely seems like that it's like a dad movie, like for sure.
What? A dad movie?
A dad movie.
Dad movie.
Yeah. Huh. So I will classify it as a dad movie because it's basically kind of like Saving Private Ryan. Like Saving Private Ryan is a great film. Don't get me wrong. But I'm not going to be like, oh, cool. Like, yeah, I'll watch Saving Private Ryan today or something. Like it's definitely it's for a war movie kind of guy. For me, it's definitely just like, oh yeah, if it's on, like I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Or something. Huh. So that's basically how I feel. Like, and like I said, my consensus of the movie of either you buy, rent, or you miss, is that for me it's definitely like a rent or a watch. Like. And then after that, it's up to you whether or not that you actually want to buy it and then own it. Obviously,
it's a buy.
Like he says that it's a buy.
100%,
so
100% Rotten Tomatoes, 10 out of 10 IMDb score for me.
I mean, it's definitely like up there. It's definitely certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. Because when I was checking on it earlier, it's at 89%. So it's definitely like a really, really good high regard movie.
See that right there, Sean?
So,
I can tell you, like, shit's good.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
I'm not discrediting it that it's not good.
I don't go based off Rotten Tomatoes because they can.
Oh yeah, no, I never do.
Yeah, they can suck a fat one, like because
like even with Evil Dead that we talked about the last time,
even
like
if
it was like a little bit over half, and it's all like what?
Yeah, even if they don't like a movie, doesn't mean that I'm not gonna like it. So
right.
Just because they give it a low rating doesn't mean I'm gonna be like, okay, it was shit.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some movies out there where it's just like, yeah, this was shit.
Yeah, like,
but there's some where they're like, oh no, it just missed the mark on this. I was like, I didn't see it.
Like like for instance, okay, I watched In a Violent Night last week. Okay.
Wait, Violent Night?
In a Violent Nature.
Okay,
that's what it was.
I was like, Violent Night's dope. What are
you talking
about?
No, In a Violent Nature is what it was, and it is very high regard with critics, but it's a pretty low score for audience, and so. It was on sale on digital, and I was hesitant about buying it because I follow this Reddit account, or not account, but regardless, I follow this subreddit where somebody posted on there saying like, "Oh, this was on sale. Like, here's my top movies. Like, what have you seen, and like, what do you have to say about them?" And one of them was In a Violent Nature, and I asked him, I was all like, "Hey, like." I was thinking about picking this up. Like, do you recommend it? And he goes like, well, I haven't seen it yet, but once I do, I'll tell you what happens. Not specifically what happens, but like what I think about it. I'm like, okay. He comes back to me after a few days and he tells me about like all the stuff that he really appreciated. I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'll pick it up. I bought it for like $10 when it was on sale. And I watched it. Boring as shit movie. And that's definitely a really high regard critic score versus a really low opinion on people that actually watch it. And so like, yes, I will admit it is a really like artsy film, right? And because like it's all about the perspective of the killer. It's basically based on a Friday the 13th-esque movie where it's like a group of friends, they go out to the woods and they go to a cabin and they hang out, and then it's like somebody fucks with some shit of the killer, and then he comes back from the dead to try to get that item back.
Regular cliche bullshit.
So yeah. So and like I will admit some of the kills are actually really cool, but like it's basically him walking through the woods. That's all it is. So, but yeah. So that was Platoon. We definitely say check it out. And of course, Gunny says to buy it.
Yeah. It's a must
own. And
you know, us dads out here.
Yeah, you guys as dads.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was today's episode. Be sure to tune in for next week. We'll talk about another movie, I'm sure. But yeah, if you guys want us to talk about a movie, definitely leave it in the comment section below. And yeah, be sure to check us out on all the social media. Once I actually get all this stuff going, check us out on Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, if you guys want to listen to us. Those of you that are listening on Spotify, you guys can check us out on YouTube as well. And I will be posting like the clips that we saw like here or something like that. So, future Devin, like, go to hell. So, because that's going to be hell to edit, I'm sure. So, but yes, thank you all so much for watching and listening, and we will see you guys in the next one.